Go Mama. So fucking
Sick?
buggy.
Oh.
I don't know no more.
All right. Well, last time. Last time was a while ago. We've had scheduling issues, but it's all right. As long as I can just remember what happened. Right, you guys fought Bonnie and Apple again, and after you guys defeated Bonnie and Apple again, Crabman showed up, and Tony was like, "Oh yeah, Crabman's Vito's uncle," and he said to meet him at the guild. And I'm assuming that you wouldn't be spending much more time in town, so I put you guys in a little office I made for Tony and the guild.
I want to go to a bar.
You'll have plenty of time for that.
Alright, well, I am claiming this chair right here.
All right. And you can definitely notice that it's a rather dimly lit room. Like, Crabman is actually the brightest light source in the area, and he's not even trying to be bright.
That's a massive chair.
It is a massive chair. And
a massive chair for a massive Crabman.
Massive chair for a massive Crabman. And like and his chair looks like the newest thing in the room.
I'm taking up the entire couch.
Like there's well, that's what I get for furnishing a room. But like, you get, like two entire corners of the office are devoted to broken things. Tell a bunch of broken magical supplies in this corner, with like, and like it's more than that. Like it's more than what I put down there. You can tell that there's probably decades worth of hastily drawn and erased and redrawn circles for spells, and so many glass bottles and orbs and shattered glass that it's
of this room.
It's actually a rather tall ceiling. It's about like it like there's a it starts off as square and comes to a dome, like rather smoothly to a dome shape. And the top, it's probably 50 feet.
Hey.
Misha's just sitting in
a regular chair,
chillaxed.
And there's and you can tell that the walls have probably, or like the walls look like they're reinforced with steel. And one of the wall and this wall is just riddled with bullet holes, as are these two standing targets. And the entire room smells faintly of burnt gunpowder. And just as Tony's massive piles of broken things in the corners of the room are a mess, his desk is equally a mess. With, like, you can see the tabletop on the map, but in reality, there's the stack of books and papers and empty bottles is probably 6 inches tall and spilling off of one side of the desk. But Tony knows where everything is. He's a smart guy. And so where's Victor settling? Why were you asking about the ceiling? Hello?
I'm sitting in a chair.
He's sitting in a chair.
Oh, he's sitting in a chair. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And once you guys have arrived and taken a moment to settle in, Tony, he takes a deep breath, and he's like, he sits there for a moment, as if thinking of how exactly to say this. And it's only when Crabman gives him a glance that, would make a normal person shit their pants. He realizes that, people are actually here. I should say things. And he looks at Vito. Hey, Vito, I need you and your friends to kill a bunch of people that I physically can't. It's a big project of mine that I've been working on since, about 1,000 years. And the four of you are the perfect opportunity for it.
Well, Pops, I gotta be honest. We'll take the job depending on who you want us to kill.
Well, someone's got to be the backstory. So would you rather have a history lesson first or a recent events brief first?
Why not both?
Well, you're getting both. It's one then the other. I just need to know which one you're more interested in.
Pluto, which one are you more interested in?
Tell me the two. What are the two?
Ancient
History
history,
lesson?
or recent history?
Yeah.
History lesson.
No,
History lesson.
Ancient history or
Yeah.
recent history?
Ancient history.
Yeah. All right.
Still the princess.
History lesson first. So the modern understanding of magic defines spells as one of 9 schools. Those being abjuration, the art of protection and sealing; conjuration, the art of moving and summoning; divination, the art of predicting and knowing, and a pain in my ass; enchantment, the art of feeling and enforcing; evocation, the art of creating and destroying; illusion, the art of seeing and distracting; necromancy, the art of living and dying; and transmutation, the art of shaping and changing.
You bite your tongue there for a second, Pops?
Oh, you know me. This understanding was first proposed in magical colleges overseas and brought to us in Elderreach by magical merchants seeking artifacts from the time before the last great magical war. Most, with emphasis on most, meaning not quite all, scholars took this new understanding in stride as it made sense with the standardization of spells and casting they were trying to convince the general magical community of. This standardization led to magic being much more accessible at the cost of the creativity of the average magical mind. But that's an argument I see both sides of, so I won't bore you with the details. But before then, the magical categories used in the Elderreach, which we call the old schools, were reflective not of experimentation and analysis, but of natural observations. By the time I was learning magic, there were 15 widely accepted types. In the course of the last great magical war, another 3 came enveloped in that fold. For most least common, with rarity of having no real tangible correlation to power, these types are water, normal, flying, grass, psychic, bug, fire, poison, ground, rock, electric, dark, steel, ghost, dragon, fairy, ice. God damn it, where's it? Oh, fuck. I fucked up my script. And the 18th Pokemon type. What am I missing? Water, flying, grass, psychic, bug. I wrote flying twice instead of fucking.
You got ghost in there?
I got ghost
Poison,
in there.
steel.
Poison, steel.
Trying to think of the more obscure types.
Or I
Hold
can just
on,
look
I
it
could
up.
pull up. I could pull up.
Tick, 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 tick.
Water, normal, flying, grass.
Fighting.
Bug.
Electric, fire, grass, normal, rock, dark, fairy, flying,
It's-
ground, poison, steel, water, psychic, ice, ghost, fighting, and dragon.
Yeah, the 18 type, the 18 the 18 Pokemon types. But which one did I not write down?
Doesn't matter right now. Continue.
Nope, I wrote all of them down. I just wrote flying. I just additionally wrote flying a second time, which very much confused me. Because especially since I was counting as I said them, and I didn't count one, so I got to 17, despite. All right, I can do pithy little descriptions for 9, but I don't think anyone here, myself included, has the attention span for 18. Some are self-explanatory. Fire concerns things that burn or are actively burning. Some are a little harder to place. Dark is sometimes conflated with evil, sometimes conflated with nighttime and the moon, sometimes neither, sometimes both, and so on and so forth. And it's such a headache. But for each of the 18 types, there's one individual who is the undisputed champion. Someone who's understanding of and power with abilities or aspects that reflect that type is considered beyond mastery. These 18 individuals are the grandmasters of the elements, though we think that's a little pompous. At least to each other's faces, we're just the grandmasters. I am sure you have heard rumor that Crabman is the fighting grandmaster. That rumor is true. The only reason it's a rumor and not general knowledge is people taking anything they hear about the key figure of the 6th most popular and second most scorned religion on the continent with a handful of salt. Some people think Crabman's a myth. But Crabman's ability to take and throw blows is literally unmatched. Mano a mano, you are fucked. What shocks me is that the rumors about Crabman squash just about anything else about Grandmasters beyond the toys our former comrades left behind. You may have noted that I am speaking in the first person, referring to our little group. The type I reign over as Grandmaster is dark. The shadows, the night, the dark. These things are not the domain of normal men. Alas, I am a vampire, which on top of keeping me young and lively, makes for a great cover as to why I am so enamored with darkness. In the heyday of the last war, the titles of Grandmaster shifted hands many times as the strong attract the strong, and it was not uncommon for Grandmasters to end up on opposing sides of a battlefield. Crabman and I fought on many of those battlefields, watching what we could only think were living legends tear each other limb from limb. Despite that, we Grandmasters have always acknowledged that despite our differences, we are, in essence, cut from the same cloth. The Battle of the Glass Stones was the first time all 18 Grandmasters were gathered in one place, and the first time more than one died at the hands of another. To be exact, 9 Grandmasters died in that battle, 2 of whom only held the prestige of Grandmaster for less than half the battle. And he stops for a moment, as if trying to wrap his traumatic memories in a neat little package. After the smoke cleared, the 18 of us were the only ones around, and we were wholly unsure of whose loyalty lay with whom. And we realized that if we continued to fight each other like this, we would turn an already devastating war into a genuine mass extinction apocalypse event, as power would continue to leap and bound forward as the strongest of the strong struggled to not die. I believe it was Ahashul of Bahamzin who was the one to suggest an all or none enchantment. A sworn oath to not kill each other, enforced not by our wills or relative strength, but by willing acceptance of the magic. Ashel was the strongest of us at the time, though Crabman was certainly giving him a run for his money. we put it to a vote, and since Haschel, Crabman, and Hellslayer all put their votes in the affirmative, what might have been a tight vote felt unanimous. Since then, for thousands of years, no matter how much shit I put on the table, Crabman hasn't been able to pop my head like a grape. I showed him many times he wanted to, but knowing that the people most capable, and there's Jiraiya,
Yay.
That's
who
not
just
Jiraiya.
missed,
Who the fuck is Jiraiya?
and there's Vinny, who just missed a big chunk of.
He can watch the
Oh, man.
recording. He'll catch up later.
How about I just repeat this last paragraph? Because this last paragraph has an important drop. It's an important little piece of lore. After the smoke, I'm just gonna speed run it. After the smoke cleared, the 18 of us were the only ones around, wholly unsure of whose alliance lay with whom. We realized that if we continued to fight each other like this, we would turn the war into an apocalypse, as the power would continue to leap and bound forward as the strongest of us had struggled not to die. Haschel of Bahamzin was the first to suggest an all-in-one enchantment, a sworn oath not kill each other enforced not by our wills or relative strength, but by willing acceptance of an enchantment. He was the strongest of us at the time, though Crabman was certainly beginning to give him a run for his money. We put it to a vote, and since Haschel, Crabman, and Hellslayer all put their votes in the affirmative, what would have been a tight vote felt unanimous. Since then, for thousands of years, no matter how much shit I put on the table, Crabman hasn't been able to pop my head like a grape. Not sure how many times he's wanted to, but knowing that the people most capable of turning me into a puddle of bloods and of bones and stolen bloods certainly made me a little more confident. And to tie this into today, and in the context of my experience, Spade's whole life is recent events. But I won't bore you with details like how he doesn't know where his parents are buried, because I had their bodies exhumed and moved to a site more respectful of their religious beliefs. But what I do think is relative to you is the big old bullseye he's been trying to tack in the back of the heads of the biggest benefactors of the guild. He took out one, which is why we had to improvise opening festivities the night the Commons was attacked. Luckily, he tipped off an up-and-comer in the Black City, which gave us just enough distraction to fill out the rest of the night. But he's been doing little things like that for a few years now. I'm not sure you would have. I'm sure Misha would have noticed his handiwork, but the rest of you might have been a little blind to it. Because while most heroes are rather open with their efforts, Spade can be a little discreet. Which would be great if you weren't trying to kill me. And also, in the service of this goal he has of wiping my business off the face of the earth, he's been ordering gunpowder by the hundreds of tons. Me knowing that particular is why I didn't want prying eyes and ears to be around when I briefed you. As far as he's concerned, I don't know that little piece of information. I was also running late to finish up some paperwork. But, that's not a big deal. This is where, and here's the part where we piece together why Crabman isn't currently kicking my ass like he did Elslayer's. Because, just because he can't kill someone doesn't mean he's not going to lay hands on them. I mean, it wouldn't do him any good to beat the shit out of me, since I would be guaranteed to survive. But it wouldn't do him any harm either, since we usually have opposing goals. But the inner workings of yours and my sworn foe, the Heroes Association, have machinated some sentiments that thrust our goals from darkness or light to dusk or twilight. My guy on the inside, whose secrecy is so essential that not even I know his name, just a series of contacts to be able to get information from him, has related to me a rather startling plan. The Heroes Association is trying to wipe all niche or fringe religions off the face of the continent, whether they be as rowdy and obnoxious as Crabman's Cult of the Crab, or as tame and peaceful as all the small followings of other gods. While mass killing is my forte, and clearing a room is always fun, genocide is strictly off the table. Never mind mass genocide. It's you guys know it's bad for business. You know, the whole people not being around to buy your stuff. I don't expect you to be heroes or to even like the plan I'm suggesting. And I'm not going to hold you to it. And there'll be no hard feelings if you back out on this.
Absolutely hope you don't expect us to be heroes. I'd be quite offended.
As would I, honestly. Something I will say is that divide and conquer is a legitimate strategy. And one our enemies have relied on for centuries. You four stand a better chance as a team than as independent individuals, especially since you're starting to garner real attention. Speaking of, Spade is the most imminent threat, and the one you are currently best equipped to deal with. You're in town, he's in town. He hasn't shown any signs of up and leaving. So I think I think it was him who arranged for Hellslayer to show up. More in response to the news that Crabman would be showing up than his plans concerning me, because, well, Crabman's always been a wild card. But you've disarmed one of his favorite cronies, and I'm sure what you did to Apple's cranium is going to take more than a nap to recover from. But you won't be able to kill Spade, nor he you, for as long as it can be construed that you're working for me. Crabman and I found this out. Oh, how long ago was it? If you don't remember, I don't remember. That's fair. But before our relation turned sour, my guys and his guys would have little friendly bouts. And at one point, one of my guys pulled a gun on one of his guys, filled him full of lead, and he just stood there like nothing had happened. And when powerful magic is sort of not maintained, it'll go off and get a personality of its own. And the enchantment, which prevents me from killing Crabman and vice versa, also sees people working for me or people following him as extensions of that, which is a part of why you haven't been able to actually put down Bonnie or Napple. The other part. Well, we're getting to that. The other part of that is Spade is rather fond of conditional teleportation magic, as I'm sure you noticed that they disappeared when you beat their asses.
Well, we kind of let Bonnie run away this time, as he looks to the side, just in shame.
Is a snake with no fangs really a snake?
I mean, they can be. Have you read Kung Fu Panda?
I've seen the stage play. But Bonnie's no Viperous.
Yeah, I mean, this gun was doing most of the damage, and the second she dropped it, she kind of stopped outputting that much damage.
Yeah, for her, a gun is a crutch. And you swept the leg. The average dictionary will define the word disavow as to deny responsibility or support for, especially in the service of secrecy. Powerful magic tends to read secrets, so I can't exempt you from it by just letting you go, especially not if I'm planning on supplying your endeavors, which I am. Instead, we're going to fight fire with fire. if you wish to back out on the murder of 15 of those 18 strongest mortal powers and still work for the guild, now would be the time. Like I said earlier, no hard feelings, but considering what Vinny's got in his head, I'm not sure Crabman will think the same. And Crabman shrugs like the kind of shrug you see someone do when they're trying to like shirk responsibility. Like, I don't know.
Oh, Pops, I didn't run when you sent me to clear out that back room full of rats that you said wouldn't harm a fly. As he gets a faraway look.
I didn't lie. They wouldn't harm a fly.
Yeah, but they would but they did try to take my finger. I ain't back out then. I'm not gonna back out now.
All right, so you are willing to kill Hellslayer.
Excuse me, what?
Oh, you.
Hellslayer? Like the Hellslayer, the one that decided that he didn't really much like Crabman today and got his ass beat, Hellslayer?
Well, I didn't know that you had a change of opinion. I thought he and Crabman were beefing for thousands of years. Yes, that Hellslayer.
How?
Pops, you are thousands of years old. I am a good, challenging 42.
Alright.
Well, I'm not saying go kill him right now. You've got, well, smaller fish to fry. And in the course of killing his companions, oh, I would say more colleagues than companions, you will eventually grow strong enough to kill him. If not for the enchantment, I could kill him, or Crabman could kill him. Well, Crabman could kill everyone if not for that enchantment. Everyone except Hashel, I think.
I was gonna ask, what type is this Hatchel? What is he the Grand Master of? And is he a part of that? Because he doesn't seem like such a bad guy.
Hashel of Bahamzin is the oldest of the 18 Grandmasters. His nickname is the King of Dragonkind, and he likewise commands respect from all dragon types. You're right to be a little hesitant. Dragon has always been considered the most powerful individual type, on paper only being bested by fairies and icelings. But any fairy or ice type practitioner will attest that paper and reality are two different realms. As many dragon type warriors will pick up a myriad of steel techniques to offset the weaknesses of their main. Hashel's no exception, but he's more of a fan of fisticuffs and breaks no sweat and sparing no measure to wipe the floor with your ass. Best way to fight him is to synergize. He's quick enough to analyze a mass of individuals in less than a blink of an eye. But he tends to get lost in the possibilities when you act like cogs in a machine. He's also more someone to take care of at the end of the road.
So you do expect us to kill him?
I am asking you to kill him because...
But if we take the mission, you do expect us to kill him?
Yes, that is.
Yes.
That is
but again, you won't be alone. You won't be really alone. It'll just seem like it.
Hey, Pops. Another quick question. Can he catch bullets?
I'll just say pack 'em hot. I'll just say pack 'em hot. If you can get if you can get it up to a mile a second muzzle velocity, you could probably sneak bullets by his defense.
Pops, I'm gonna need more practice with the sniper again.
No, your best bet there will be to continue with your sidearms. Catching one really fast bullet seems like it's harder than catching 6 really slow ones. But even a really slow bullet is moderately fast. If you're really going to use bullets, I'd recommend a shotgun.
Use one of those since I first used one and it blasted me through that fucking wall.
Well, that's what happens when I hand load shotgun shells. But it seems to me that none of you are backing out. Am I right? Oh, I guess I didn't give you the names that be on Spade. Because I'm sure that there's at least one person on my list that all of you will be after. There's of course Spade, reaching to the waves, who did Misha dirty by trying to hold her back. Vito. Opal's on the list.
Opal, huh?
Steel Grandmaster Opal, Mistress of Metal.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that one.
There's someone who's joined our ranks since after the last meeting, who I really only got a name for. A woman by the name of Helena, who I think probably has some relation to you, huh, Pluto?
Makes absolutely no movement.
Hmm?
Pluto just doesn't budge. She doesn't move. She has like a complete blank place on her. Oh my god, I can't speak.
I don't think I've left you out, Vinny. One of the white whales on this list is Tamamo. Am I saying that right? She's kind of elusive. You just spoke Greek, Maldetto.
Oh. That's because and
I can't understand you. Your mic's fucked. Can you just type in chat? In either Discord or the Roll20, I've got them both open.
We only have one session. It's a good one.
And I'll be right back.
All right.
At some point, we're gonna be able to kill Bonnie, right?
Oh yes, you will. actually, once you leave this room, you'll be able to, and you'll even be able to get the drop on her. But that's like the next part of the plot of this little bit. So we're gonna wait for Drew to come back before getting into it. Well, oh yeah, there's a. Aha! I forgot that there's a text channel. They added text channels attached to the voice channels.
I'm good. I'm alive.
Did I miss anything?
Not really. Because we reached the point where I was like, oh yeah, we'll wait for Drew to get back.
Okay.
All right. That sells it. This spell, if you guys could all get on the carpet, this little the emotions for y'all to go to this little area in front of his desk. A spell, which Crabman suggested I give the simple name of Disavow, will render you socially invisible. You will go largely unrecognized, even to people who know you. The only people guaranteed to remember you when they see you are the people who can see you when it is cast. Otherwise, it will be on the strength of their resistance to remember you. Crabman is here because for the first time on our lives since, the Clash Domes, we have aligned goals. And his gimmick, No Guard, makes him forego resisting to ensure his accuracy. And as far as we know, it applies to obscure high-level magic, too. Another side effect of this is something I think of along the lines of out of sight, out of mind. If we can't see you, hear you, smell you, feel you, or God forbid, taste you, it'll be like you never existed. I've left myself extensive and vague notes that I can still arrange. Safe houses, dead drops, and information to be routed to you, but that's it. It'll be impossible for me to get the feeling that you might need rescuing, or for me to know if you've died. You'll essentially be cut off from the guild. Are we ready?
Benny in here? Since he's kind of one of the guys who you probably send out to give information. So if he saw us, he might give us information.
Oh, Benny's a smart guy. I'm sure he'll remember when he sees you. When you encountered him earlier, he was on his way out of town. I was only planning for me and Crabman to be the ones guaranteed to remember you. It's for the same reason as Benny gave you code, so that if someone captures him, he can be in his zone of truth and not give away information.
Secondly, you get the feeling Ma probably wouldn't be too happy about you casting a spell that's gonna make you forget me.
That's only when you're not around. I'll still know you when I see you.
Well,
And assuming I survive to the end of your mission, I'll have come up with some way to reverse it.
wait, you don't have a way to reverse it now?
Nope. It's on the it's in the works. But I kind of need a test subject that will come back to me for that to work. And all the other times I've cast a spell, they saw get out of jail free card and fucking took it.
Great. Alright, well, we're probably gonna be here for a while. Hopefully this isn't gonna be like, you blink and you forget about us and then you see us and you're like, oh, yeah, when did you get here? And the whole looping process.
I don't have an in-universe example. Ant, you watch Doctor Who? Do any of you watch Doctor Who?
Yeah.
It'll be like The Silence.
Hmm.
He'll remember everything once he sees you, but while you're out of sight, he won't know. But he's still able to leave himself notes, and he left himself notes in such a way that he would know what he's doing, but not have to remember it. I mean,
Everybody's good.
All right.
We're ready.
yep. No one will remember you as. It's possible. It's basically what's going to happen behind the scenes is whenever somebody sees you, they'll have to pass a whiz save against Tony's spellcasting DC to see if they remember you. So it's
So nobody's gonna remember me as the orgy guy. That's unfortunate.
it's a little unfortunate. Well, not nobody. People with really good wisdom scores would. Yes, it's basically your. Okay, have you guys played Fallout New Vegas? Okay, it's a little. In Fallout New Vegas, after you get revenge on a guy, all of the
That's pretty bad.
after you get revenge on the guy who shoots you in the head in the opening cutscene, all of the the representatives from each of the major factions come up and say, "Hey, we forgive you for anything you did before murking Benny. Please come work for us." But yeah, everyone's gonna. It's gonna be. Let's see, have I edited Tony's stat block to be what I want it yet? Not quite. But it's gonna be a real hard. It's gonna be a hard save. So really wise characters or characters that are particularly good at spell saves might be able to remember you on sight, but it's most likely going to be that the average person you encounter won't remember who you were before you met them.
Oh, so if
Hey.
I sleep with a girl, I could pull a you.
What do you mean pulling me?
Who was it that said he doesn't know how many brothers and sisters I have in a bed?
I don't know the exact number, But that's because I don't know how many people were, I don't know how many times the protection failed, or how many people were lying about being on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So like I said, I could pull a you.
I think Incredible, but I think that's more pulling a me than pulling a Tony. Tony doesn't knock people up on purpose then leave.
I don't plan on it. I'm just saying I could. Just because I could do something doesn't mean I should do something, but I could.
When is could and should stopped you before?
When I could have broken your bottle of scotch, but I shouldn't do that.
As if I'd notice. And he comes and he grabs a few bags from the drawer and begins to pour out what is very obviously powdered gems around you, which is why he needed you all kind of close together. I guess I need to do it from here-ish. Creating circles of ruby, citrine. Oh, I fucked up that circle. Topaz, emeralds. These are more ovals, but this is also just they're circles. Trust me.
Why they're sexy?
Oh, hello there.
Sapphires, lapis lazuli, and amethyst.
Is that the infamous question?
That's loud.
It's your middle.
Hello?
Ignore my boyfriend.
Hello.
Jordan and him are working against each other.
Once Tony gets the rainbow gems around you, he says, "Well, that's set up. I'm gonna need one of you to give me a countdown from 5."
5, 4,
Once it's set up.
3, 2, 1.
Why no, he said once it's set up.
1.5.
All right. What? Vita, if you hit
1.25.
you said 1, and when Vito reaches 1, Tony snaps his fingers. The circles of powdered gems all flash brilliantly, disappear, and leave you standing there feeling no difference. I've not really performed long-term testing of this spell on account of lack of test subjects. Like I was saying, most people see a get out of jail free card and take it. At least I think that's what happened. Crabman, your bid is done, but feel free to stay. No, my flock's having a party in town, and it'd be rather rude of me to ditch them any longer than I already have. I'll see you sons of bitches around, huh? And he pats Pillow on the shoulder as he heads out, leaving the room considerably darker.
Bye, Al.
Well, I'm sure you'll be seeing him again. Now would be the perfect time for questions.
First and foremost, I need to know what makes this gun tick and if I can recreate any effects that it gives for my own guns.
And he reaches out like a toddler that you've just presented with a piece of candy. And when he takes it, he's very quick to just get up, get around, inspect it. and take a few test shots. And you can see him just. And this is about the closest to his shoulder that you've actually seen him have a rifle in a while. Because after every shot, he rotates that middle. He rotates the two magazines to see what's different. So you see a flash of lightning, a flamethrower effect, and then the third one just appears to be a regular bullet. And he investigates it, looking for extra magazines and such. When he hands it back to you, he says, "This is a potion gun. I'm sure Bonnie had a better name for it. But, it takes me a while to come up with names for things. And to figure out. And let me just do the show to players trick. Show to everyone. It's definitely got some handiwork of Theodore. So he probably oversaw her making it.
Theodore? Like, the hunter? Theodore?
Yeah, Theodore, Master of the Hunt. He's a nice enough guy, actually. He really only cares about the environment. Which, I like nature. So,
I also like
but yeah, if you pour a potion down in one of those magazines, it'll imbue an effect on the bullets. My guess is that a resistance potion will be inverted instead of, making your enemy resistant to a damage type. It'll deal that damage type to them. I'm guessing lightning and fire, and maybe even piercing for that third one. It didn't look any different from just a hand loaded bullet. But if you pop that open, you'll notice no bullets in it. It's rather light. So I'm guessing what they did was take 3 existing rifles that were made into self-loading rifles, take the loading mechanisms out of them, and Frankenstein them together. Let's just say I went on a little bit of a bender before opening festivities, and I'm currently out of potions, so I don't have anything for you to experiment with. But I'm sure next time you see Bonnie, she'll have brought some potions with her, keen on taking that back. And next time you see Bonnie, you'll be able to kill her dead. Oh wait, she won't. She might not have She might. I wonder. Because you stole that from her, and then I just made her forget about you. Wonder what she thinks happened to it.
I bet she's fucking out there, like, looking for her gun because she thinks you dropped it.
She also would have forgotten that you kicked her ass, so she'll be like sore all over. It's like, what the fuck happened? And I'm sure Spade will accuse her of alcoholism. First meeting the Grandmasters in 200 years, right? Spade's the new guy. Spade's new water Grandmaster, right? He shows up. He takes one look at me. He points at me and he says, "Alcoholic." And I swear to fucking God. I didn't know whether to laugh or to beat his ass.
Well, was he wrong though?
That's why I didn't know whether to laugh or to beat his ass.
Alright. I want to be 100% honest. Out of character. Canonically, Pluto has a small crush on Crabman.
That's fair.
But I mean, is it not in character? She was all over the rock.
Yeah, she was all over the
I
rock.
mean, she was all over the rock.
And if I were in Pluto's shoes, I would also have a small crush on Crabman.
Crush
It's
on
like,
Crabman.
damn.
Crabman is the reason why Maxwell is my say. So,
Well, you asking about Hellslayer? He's your best bet is to catch him alone.
He
And to
typically
catch
alone?
him, he's typically alone, but he's also typically in his element. You got it, which is tearing demons, devils asunder. If you find him on the road, he'll be like a fish out of water. Most devils and demons like to jump and fly around and change their position often. He's not accustomed to fighting obelisks. Crabman rather handily laid hands on him. A straightforward battle style would be best, as he's prone to overthinking his next move, because usually he has to. Also, if you funnel the fight into one-on-one fighting instead of one-on-many, it'll be like that scene in that one book, the poor sheriff. Oh, the poor sheriff! The shriff.
The shrift.
And Tony doesn't even know about that. He's like, oh. The sheriff? Wait, did you say that out loud, Vinny? Or would Vinny not partially kind of low-toned it? Sheriff? What, you guys torture a sheriff? Or you guys torture a shriff?
Yes.
A shriff, alright. Well, of course he had it coming. He was a shriff.
Yeah, his life is already looking down. I really hope he doesn't kill himself.
Huh? Why would he kill himself? What? He doesn't have a wife and kids?
Don't got fingers to make him forget about that loneliness either.
No, you gotta go back and reteach the lesson. Like, we're here for the rest of your fingers. Wait, the rest of them? I've always had this many fingers. Could be one of the ways that the magic justifies what happened to him.
The fact that the second we leave, he's gonna forget again.
Yeah. And the second you guys leave, Tony's gonna be like, wait, what the hell just happened? Yeah, you guys leaving anybody is gonna be like it's gonna be such a mind fuck whenever you guys leave a location.
Wait, so what if one of us leaves? Like, what if we split off of the party for a second? Do we just forget that about the other member?
No, we're all
No.
we're in the circle together.
If you guys, well, you guys were all in the so you guys were all in the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were all in those circles. The spell isn't disavowing each of you individually. The disavow happens to the group of you all at once. So
So
Tony doesn't know this.
were-
Tony doesn't know this because he hasn't been able to test his spell extensively. But I'll explain. I can explain out of character that the group of you was disavowed. Right? He cut you guys off without, cutting you, without kicking out, without actually kicking you to the curb. But he didn't he didn't disavow each of you individually. He disavowed the group of you. So while each of you is a part of that group and thus would be disavowed, it'll be more like someone will, if you guys split up, it'll be more likely like the DC for that save will be lowered because it won't be because if you guys walk up to Bonnie and Apple right now, all four of you, they'll have a hard time remembering. But if say just Vito showed up, it might not be so difficult. And I'm sure you guys would eventually be able to come upon that logic, and Tony would eventually be able to come upon that logic. But he also is going to forget you guys once you leave, so he won't really have the time to think about that. And when you guys show up, it's gonna be okay. Report back. We need to catch up. Should have left a hand out of the circle. Well, there was nah, you shouldn't have. You would have forgotten your hand. You would forget your hand when you're not looking. I was like, oh, where's my hand? Oh, it's right there.
No, he would just
Wouldn't
forget
it-
that he has a hand.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
you forget that he
wouldn't it
has a
just-
hand.
Wouldn't
It's like,
it
yeah,
just
I was
be that the
yeah.
hand forgets it's attached to the body? Because his body
hand
isn't disavowed, but his hand just is yeah.
His
So,
hand would be limp and numb until he looks at it. It's like, oh. Be limp and numb and motionless until he looks at it. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh my god, I have a hand.
It's the trick where you sit on your hand beforehand, so it feels like someone else is doing it.
Jesus, like, what the fuck is she doing?
Anyways,
this is a real important question. This is a very important question.
alright.
If we just happened to seduce Bonnie specifically, because it wouldn't really work on Crabman. I'm sure Crabman has been left in a room naked just by himself, and he's been like, "Yeah, this makes sense." But if we were
All
to
the
seduce
time.
Bonnie, if we were to seduce Bonnie, and it worked out, and then we left, would she just be standing there, just like, what just happened?
Well, that'd be fucked up because, there'd still be the evidence of it happening, but she wouldn't remember.
But what if we left a little note reminding her that it was,
A little note reminding her that it was consensual,
it was consensual?
or making her sign a consent form beforehand,
Right.
just like,
Just like, don't worry,
oh, I
Bonnie.
signed it?
You like
oh,
this.
this is my signature. That would just be all kinds of fucked up. Because
It's just hypothetical.
on the one hand, but on the other, I'll have to think about how the spell actually works because, she might remember. Because as far as Tony knows, he's not right. Tony hasn't had a chance to really test this extensively. It might be that someone could someone might remember bits and pieces. Ah, yes. Well, we're just doing probably roleplay for the rest of the session. So you'll be able to see on YouTube and not miss out on much. I mean, hypothetically, and I haven't given much thought to how that spell works because I didn't think of you guys going off and using this information to seduce Bonnie.
Of course not. Why would you?
Why would I think of that? Why would I think of anything? Because like, she's forgetting who you were, but you'd be a new. Oh, you would have to be a new person to seduce her, because if you were seducing her as you would risk her remembering by giving her the repeated. Basically, it's like you'd be giving her extra saves by remembering if you reminded her if you used your real name. So she wouldn't forget. She wouldn't forget whatever alter ego you used to seduce her, but she would forget what you look like until she saw you again. Like, oh, you're so and so. You're John Smith.
Would she remember what we look like? Because she doesn't remember us. If the instant she looks away,
Well,
she don't
the
remember
instant
us.
she looks away, she doesn't remember you. But when she looks back at you, she gets the opportunity to remember. Right? Like the next encounter, she has the opportunity to remember both who you were and more easily who you were after she, like, you know, let's say she fails the first time and doesn't know who you are and assumes you're just a rando and you seduce her. It's like, oh, there's this new person. She would more easily remember the new person than the old one.
Oh, what I'm hearing is there is a very real chance that we could just buy a fake mustache.
You wouldn't even have to do that.
And it would be like creating another Netflix account for the free subscription for the 3 months. Just every time, just slightly different look. Hey, there's a mustache now. You're not the person I knew. I'm sorry.
I mean, with a mustache, someone can grow out or shave their mustache and still be recognized. Mustache and a sombrero. It's like, oh, you're wearing a sombrero now. Interesting.
Mustache.
I really hope that they
And I assume we're having this conversation out of character.
I really hope that Victor fails and can't seduce Bonnie, but Pluto can. You did.
No, I said it would be fun.
No, Lexus. He was talking about your gun tension. A second national celebrity.
I would like for Victor to have had this entire conversation in character.
Oh, in character. Okay, that changed. Okay, so that I was giving you my answers as.
Oh no, I agree. I would like. No, I like.
Now you want to know Tony's answer.
I want to know Tony's answers, but like also, yes, this also happened in character.
Huh?
Like this, like the initial question was for out of character, but now that we've gotten to this, I really want this to be in character.
That's disturbing, Vito. Because you would do nothing wrong. Well, like you would both would and wouldn't do something wrong there, right? Because on the one hand, she's perfect. Like she's probably more lucid than normal when in your presence, because you know the way magic interacts with itself. she'd be in a better state of mind. she'd be in a perfectly fine state of. You wouldn't be like, forcing her hand. It wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be like slipping her a Mickey. But at the same time, she wouldn't know anything afterwards, and it would be as if you had. She would be under the, but at the same time, she would know it was you. I mean, that's not something I would do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Because
but
of the
she's a French
implication.
bird.
What?
She's a French bird.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you-
She killed my friend's
Yeah.
bird, and then she
Yeah,
proceeded to pick a fight with me every time we saw each other. And like, I respect the on-site rules, but at some point, there's got to be like a line where it's just like, I don't feel like doing this. Like, we were literally doing nothing when she and her fucking posse fucking jumped us. I feel like, a little bit of it, like, at the very least, like, flirting with her and like making her feel love that's never gonna be returned is a bit justified.
Jesus Christ! I mean,
We're villains. It's what it's.
you are my son. That is the type of torture I probably would have thought up when I was your age. But that was thousands of years ago.
I feel completely justified in saying that I would not feel bad at all for making her fall in love with me or anybody in this group and leaving her out to dry for her
I
to
would
never
say-
feel love again.
I would say that establishing that strong bond would probably risk her remembering you, and well, you're not immortal. You're just invisible. So that might end with you, dead in a. That'll be a vet. That might end.
Technically,
That might end with you. You're not invincible though.
invincible would be the right word, perhaps.
You're not invincible. You are not. It's not guaranteed that you're gonna live forever. Especially now that Bonnie can kill you, and if she remembers you taking her gun, and if she remembers the rest of you, she's not gonna forget what you did. So, it would be a closed casket funeral for sure. Do any of you have questions that aren't brain fucks?
No, I don't have any now.
Like, could I recreate whatever they did to Bonnie's gun to one of my guns, or
If you have something with a tube magazine or a box magazine, a cylinder, so like the Steyr maybe, but you have a hard time on it with a revolver. No.
Missing 2 days in a row.
Missed what 2 days in a row?
She loves him, man.
My Elodie.
What?
Don't chase after
I'm rested
him.
and ready for the day.
What's going on? I'm curious.
It's right there. Go get him. It's the corn man.
Okay.
Don't judge.
Oh, I see.
Well, potion guns are a pain in the ass.
It's
She must have been. Bonnie must be some sort of alchemist by trade to really have that kind of understanding of potions. But you could, in theory, apply it to anything. It works best with a tube magazine, from the experimentation I did with them. But that gun is probably the best tool for it because it is a hand-tooled multi-magazine weapon. It's versatile. Well, Crabman's not here, so this isn't. So the Battle of the Glass Stones is a story that's only harmful for one person in the room. You guys want a little bit more context about it?
Yes.
So, 9 Grandmasters died in that fight. It was a fucking massacre. I think the order was grasped by fire, poisoned by ground, normal by fighting, psychic by ghost, flying by electric, and then 5 in a row from Crabman. Ice, steel. Nope, that's 4 in a row. 5 total from Crabman. 4 in a row by Crabman. Ice, steel, rock, and dark. The only Grandmasters I knew then were the people I were already close to. Crabman and my fiancée at the time, the Cannibal Queen of Darkness, now noted in the history books as the first true Lich, the Dread Queen Antara. Crabman wears armor not to defend himself, but to hide the scar she gave him in the Battle of the Glass Stones. You knew that, as I told you when you showed me the crown. Crabman's a gentle soul, but he can only take being slapped in the face for so long.
Wait, your fiance was Andara, and then you ever marry Mom?
Yeah, there was like 10,000 years between those two events.
You see, this is why you can't ever use that. Oh, I'm no older than 100 bullshit on me. You just said there was 10,000 years between your ex fiance and Ma. Ain't no way you younger than 100.
You know, that was I was deliberately trying to keep you away from this until the opportunity presented itself that you would be able to take on a Grandmaster, because this is I believe the fancy word is a cognito hazard. It's information that's dangerous to know. Not very many people even know that Hellslayer is more than 100 years old. He's famous, but the public has kind of a short memory. Anyways, you shouldn't expect to see too much of Crabman until it's time to take on Hashel, Hellslayer, and Tamamo.
In all honesty, Pops, you're an old ass man, and I've always wanted to say that to you with impunity.
I mean,
You are an old motherfucker.
100's pretty old. You could have called me an old motherfucker
When I was easily lived to 100.
When I was claiming, I claimed to be 100 for 40 years. I knew you were going to catch on. But anyways, Hashel, Hellslayer, and Tamamo, none of them are going to, by the time you're ready to face them, none of them would fare well on their own. As soon as you've taken out probably 8 or 9 of the Grandmasters, they'll have more than enough time to figure out what's going on. Especially since I've been having their most likely successors, at least their most likely successors outside of my sphere of influence, assassinated for the better part of a century. They'll stick to each other like white on rice, and the only way you'll be able to kill any of them is if you're able to kill all 3. Tamamo's been suspicious of me since the beginning, so them huddling together for warmth might be sooner than later.
The most likely successes for the people that for the people that we're initially gonna kill.
I didn't put much thought into that or thought exactly into what types you might fall into, because well, I didn't need to kill you. I reckon Pluto and Misha at least are rather close, and well, Vito, you're right. Well, Vito, you're a shoo-in for either Steel or Dark, and Vincent's also a shoo-in for either Fairy or Dark.
Repeat
But
that.
the end goal of this is for the Grandmasters to no longer exist. Crabman's already on board with that idea, and so once you've killed number 15, he and I will be able to, as the only remaining truly living Grandmasters, to formally disband them and prevent this kind of manipulation of power from happening again. You know, bad for business to have so much power absorbed in one spot. That's why it's been in my interest to keep the North and the South, the Northern Principality and the Southern Principality not unified. Because one person ruling an entire continent is bad for business. But when I can have my guys dress up as Northern soldiers and dress up as government officials from the North and go sell stuff in the South and vice versa, it makes business a little easier.
Wow.
But yes, you four are very likely candidates for sliding yourselves into the roles of Grandmaster.
But what really happens if you become a grand? It's not like you get like ultra powers or anything like that, right? Like it's not. You just get a title, right?
Titles come with prestige, and when a prestige is safeguarded by magic, even if you don't become any stronger from it initially, it gives you a little bit more breathing room.
So,
Especially,
so effectively, you're just
But
making us kill the old grandmasters, so that the magic and the powers of the whatever gets focused in on like a couple of people, or like
the
what's
opposite.
to stop it from just hopping to another person?
That person won't have the time to properly. The people who would be their most likely successors most likely won't have the time. Assuming we can get this all done in the course of a couple years, probably sooner than that, seeing as how things tend to snowball. There won't be enough time for them to truly slot themselves into the role and be actual full grandmasters. And there's this idea in the scholarly community. I've got my toes in a bunch of different pools. That energy likes to disperse. It's an idea called entropy. Things will when not interfered with, go to a more chaotic state, a more natural state. The Grandmasters building themselves up in an arms race, as we have for so long, is sort of an interruption of nature. I kind of like nature.
Why do I get the feeling that like thousands of years from now this shit's gonna come back as like some grand prophecy or some bullshit like that? We're gonna have to
Thousands
go
of years.
through this all over again.
Thousands of years from now, we'll all be retired.
Pops, you and I are
Dead.
basically immortal.
Yeah. I mean, I could
He
retire
said
right now if I
retired,
wanted.
not dead.
We're basically immortal with immortal bodies. With, like you said yourself, like 10,000. You're past 10,000 years at this point.
Yeah.
What's to stop this from happening in 10,000 years?
The tendency of energy to disperse. Magic becomes ever more accessible. You know, a few thousand years ago, it was the introduction of new schools and standardization. A few thousand years from now, it'll probably happen again and become more
Well,
accessible.
why are you sniffing the seat cushions where the crab head was?
Don't judge.
Why the fuck are
That's
you?
her, that's her prerogative. He's a party animal. He'd understand. He wouldn't be offended.
It's just weird to be having this conversation with you and then suddenly turning my head to the right and randomly seeing Pluto's whole entire ass just in the air. just going ham right now, and I was just very confused.
Why are you looking at Pluto's ass?
Don't try to turn this on me. Why the fuck was your face in the corner? Don't turn this on me.
Mind you, this was fun.
Why don't you not sniff seat cushions?
None of your business what I do with these cushions.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's kind of weird.
It's weird.
It's kind of weird to look over randomly and just see the person that I've risked my life to save at one point to ass tooted up, head buried in the seat cushion, sniffing my uncle's scent. Like it's just kind of weird for me as a person.
Oh, come off it. You didn't even know he was your uncle until earlier today.
It makes it weirder. Not gonna lie. And in all honesty, out of character, Victor is currently thinking, damn, nigga, what you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. Hell ass, the sun is still out, nigga, and I'm just...
Pluto's ass. Pervert.
What you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. Hella ass. The sun is still out.
Character. That's what Victor is thinking, but he's not saying it out loud. He's just like,
And Tony is completely unfazed by this going on because, you know, he's known Crabman for 10,000 years. He's probably seen tens of thousands of people throwing themselves at Crabman.
Tony is
Because of
having war flashbacks. I don't think he has time to be looking over it.
Yeah, Tony's currently
Tony
Tony's currently reminiscing on the time his brother murdered his fiance.
Yeah.
He is currently just going through it right now. and
Yeah,
honestly,
like
the fact that he's not making Victor just go like, you know what, you stay here, is honestly baffling. But you know, we've
wait, what? I'm hearing you.
The fact that Tony isn't just like Victor, you just kind of show. I'll find somebody else to do this. It's honestly baffling.
You see, Tony's a little bit of a narcissist. So he's like, yeah, he's part me. Of course, he's got this in the bag. Okay, a lot of it. Tony's had 10,000 years to build his self-confidence, and nothing's standing in the way of that.
I would like to remind you, I'm 42. I am nowhere near that age.
Well, when Tony was 42, he was fighting in the last great magical war. And he's like, yeah, that's easy.
Shadow that I'm currently trying to climb out of just got a lot bigger, and I'm realizing the vast valley that is being passed
You know
in
what?
the shadow, and I realize that I am probably never going to ever get out of this valley of death. In other words, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at myself and realize
There's not much left. Well, think about this. Your current goal is kill 15 of the most powerful people in history. And Tony is fully confident in your ability that you are going to be able to do it. It's like, yeah, you guys have got this. Now, do any of you have a guess as to which type you? Because I'm saying you're killing 15 people. There's 2 grandmasters that you don't have to kill, but there are 18 grandmasters. So what type is being left out?
I'm assuming Tony, Crabman. I don't know what types they are though.
Well, yeah, Tony. Well, you do know what types are. Tony's dark type, and Crabman's fighting type. What's the third type that you're not going to have to kill?
Probably normal.
probably normal.
All right. What do y'all's get? What are the rest of y'all guessing?
Let's see here.
Honestly, when I think of the normal Grandmaster, I just think of smooth SpongeBob.
Oh my god.
No, dear.
Don't tempt me. I have only come up with the Grandmaster.
Oh my god, please be tempted. Absolutely, Jojo, please be tempted.
I was going to come up with all 18 of the Grandmasters before this, would have a list of all of them, but you know, I had to. But Joey didn't. I didn't know if Joey was like actually joining or not because he hasn't like actually said anything in the chat.
In all honesty, I'm just thinking of, you come up onto the normal Grandmaster's mansion, and it's just a regular house. You knock on the door, and he's like, "Hi, how are you?" It's pure smooth SpongeBob. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I think I'm gonna give whatever I do for the normal Grandmaster. I'm gonna give him a Canadian accent. Oh, hi, how are you? So, Drew, what type do you think has been left out?
No idea.
Do you have a guess, Katie?
Uh,
And I mean, if any of you make the observation that 15 plus 2 equals 17, and you said there was 18, you could ask. But the question is, would any of your characters do the math?
Is it the
Well-
ghost type?
I guess I don't think so. Because Trevor didn't say anything.
Would any of you ask the question aloud? Like, what's the missing? Like, would any of you ask what's the missing type, or are you just not doing the math?
There is two ghosts.
I would
Huh?
ask. I'll ask. Why not?
Oh shit! Yeah. You're thinking? Oh yeah. He's been off. He's been off the table for so long. What do I call him? I have a note of his name somewhere. Oh, the man in deepest violet. That's the ghost grandmaster.
Aha, I called it.
So what he did is he tried to kill Death.
Did he
And
win?
well, you see, he would if Death could die, he would have. He was ready. He was capable, but Death can't die. Death is a force of nature. But there's always something representing of an avatar of Death, a physical representation of Death. And after laying a severe and basically after learning that he couldn't kill Death, he did everything he could to piss Death off. And Death is so incensed with the man of deepest violet that he refuses to take him. The man of deepest violet will never die. I once saw this. And for a while, man of deepest violet and I were on partying terms, and I once saw him do. Like he came with the gold for 4 kilos of cocaine just in hand. He said. And he got the longest table I have and put it all in a line. And he did a line of 4 kilos of cocaine
Oh, it was good.
because he can't die. And he's also upset that he can't die. It's sort of a mutual being upset with each other kind of thing. But like, I would probably die if I did 4 kilos of cocaine all at once. I'm surprised he could breathe in for that long.
So if Uncle Crabman is one of the people who could outdrink you, then that guy is the second guy who could outdrink you.
No, he's the first guy that could outdrink me. He'll outdrink anybody. He will.
Benny, you got
He will
competition.
drink. Benny's got competition.
You got competition.
I would not let Benny anywhere near the man of deepest violet. Benny would die from alcohol poisoning.
I said, Benny, you got
Oh,
competition.
Vinny would die too from alcohol poisoning. He's like, he could. I've seen him distill just pure ethanol, chasing the highs. He's like, I guess with alcohol it's a low, but it's a buzz, it's a feeling. And the way that he abuses his body without so much as a scratch, it's kind of upsetting. He's like, he's kind of like in between a man and a ghost, which is fitting. He's the Ghost Grandmaster.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Did I just hear an OO?
You heard?
No, you heard.
Are we-
Oh boy.
What?
You heard a oh boy.
Hobo? That's Space
Oh,
Needle.
boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh.
Yeah. Like Tony the Tiger. Oh boy.
They're great. Don't turn. Tony the Tiger says, "Don't turn to page 16 of Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book." Mickey Mouse. Oh, you fucked it out.
I don't think we're looking mighty deep today. No.
Dear God, what am I a part of?
Katie's childhood right now.
Do any of you have any further questions for Tony?
No, I'm good. But Victor is gonna start doing Kermit impressions about Kermit wanting to see Miss Piggy. Pop that. Pop now. I ain't gonna say it on camera. On recording.
Well, unless any of you have any more questions for Tony, I think we're good to end the session here.
I think we're good. I mean, Tony's been very informative today.
Yeah, that was the point. Today was Lore Dump Day.
Looking mighty good today.
Looking mighty good today.
A, B, C, D. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys.
At least let me hit the stop button before you start singing, alright? God damn.
I didn't even get to see that, JoJo. That was a visual effect. That was. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm clicking the stop button now.
You
Yeah,
should.
yeah,
You really
yeah.
should.